And as we get settled, I want to welcome you. My name is Jonathan McCoy. I'm the Vice President of the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Association, and I am the Chairman of our COPE programming, which is what this event falls underneath. It's our community outreach program. And what we are doing today, as you can see with your program on the cover, is we are doing a combination. Usually we do John Lewis in February, and we do the Rosa Parks Awards here in March, but we said this year we wanted to put them together because basically they're both inspirational persons, inspirational of being involved in your community, being involved in what's going on in life, and not just sitting back and letting things go by and hoping that somebody else will do something, but how do you step up and do what you can and what you're led to do. And so we're having this combined ceremony of celebrating our local heroes who are really living out the legacy of John Lewis and Rosa Parks. And so we want to welcome you again to be with us tonight. You know, we always, we've done this program for a number of years. We're always trying to figure out how many people should we plan for? How many chairs should we sit up? How many programs should we make? And well, it's always good when you get to the point and say, well, do we have enough chairs and do we have enough programs? So it's really good to see people come out and support those who are being honored because they have done the work. They are part of the community and they're leaders in the community. And it's always great when the community comes and recognizes their efforts. So again, thank you for coming. Again, I'm Jonathan McCoy, and I'll be emceeing tonight, but before we get to giving out the awards, we wanted to have a time, as you can see in the insert, for some remarks. We have Mr. Andrew Iden with us today, and if you've been to our prayer breakfast, I think it was about 2 years ago, him and Preston Blakely were keynote speakers at our breakfast, but also, as you can see in the insert, that Andrew worked for John Lewis. He was part of his congressional staff, and also he was a co-writer with him as Representative Lewis wrote his graphic novels about MOVE and his movement of his participation, especially walking across the Edis Pettus Bridge and his involvement in the civil rights movement. And so, as always, Andrew has always been interested in us honoring the legacy of John Lewis and the work that goes on in Asheville. And he's always like, hey, can I come up? And that's not just to come up and speak, but just to come up and see and be a part of it. And so we asked if he would come and bring us a few remarks of this day. And so he so graciously has come, and we are asking him to come forward.
Good evening. That was good. I always get you when they say, like, no, you can do better. It's like, do you know what we've been through? We survived Helene, okay? It's been 6 months. No, I was thinking on the drive over here, I live in Edneyville. I live in the Apple Valley. I live in the same valley my grandmother lived in, the same valley I live in the same house my mother lived in. It'll be about 8 years since they passed. Grandmama passed on Good Friday, and Mama passed about 8 weeks later. And so I've been thinking a lot about what this region means to me, because the congressman came up and visited us several times. He came and he stayed at the Grove Park, but I know, right? And he loved it. He would take any excuse to come up here, and several people from his old days in Atlanta live here. I'm not from or one of those fancy people. My grandfather was the mailman in Edneyville, and I came to work for John Lewis answering his mail. But the mail was so important to John Lewis because that was how he met Dr. King. He grew up 50 miles from Rosa Parks. She grew up in Tuskegee. John Lewis grew up in a small town called Troy. But somehow they all ended up in Montgomery. And I remember John Lewis, he told these stories to kids all the time. And my job was sometimes to hold the photograph. Sometimes it was to, talk to the kids before they get there. But a lot of the time, the best part was that I just got to listen. And when he would talk about Rosa Parks in particular. He knew her much later in life, but he heard about her on his old radio, as he would say. He heard the story of the bus boycotts. He followed it all year long. A lot of people forget it was a whole year. And when he finally did meet her, he was so surprised at how quiet she was, at how gentle she seemed, how this tiny woman could have so much courage. And I remember the first time he said that, sir, I said to the congressman, "Sir, you're not that big either." Yeah, you know who knew him, right? He was like 5'4". But he had that same courage. He had that same quiet, peaceful demeanor. As we celebrate these two people with these awards, I think that both of them also had a similarity that we don't often discuss, which is that both of them at the end of their lives had a difficult time. The John Lewis that we celebrate today is not the John Lewis I started working for in 2007, answering his mail. He's not the same person who gave me that shot to let me work for him. He had almost lost his seat. There were people who were saying he was too old, he should retire. And for Rosa Parks, she was actually unemployed for a long period of time. And it was Congressman John Conyers who, in her 60s, offered her a job in his office and gave her a respectable living. They had been forgotten or left out in their own lifetimes. In my own role with John Lewis, in some ways, it was about helping people understand what was so special about him. We hear a lot about Selma. We see recreations of the march from Bloody Sunday. But we do not hear a lot about the Mississippi Freedom Summer, the 4 students who were murdered and buried in an earthen dam. We don't hear about the sacrifice that it took at the Atlantic City Democratic Convention in 1964, when Fannie Lou Hamer stood up and told the world about her forced sterilization on national television. And we forget how those events led to Selma. Just as we don't tell the story of what Rosa Parks did. We talk about her on that one day, but we don't talk about the indignities that she suffered working in a segregated Alabama for pennies on the dollar, much less to pennies on the dollar to a white woman, much less compared to a white man. I think that's why I love to help y'all so much and do whatever I can, because it is so important that we honor people in their prime, that we honor people who have made their contribution, who do not become forgotten, that we show them our gratitude. I've known Preston for quite a long time now at this point. The gray in my beard was not there when we first met. And I think about that a lot, how he's grown as a leader. But I've never met somebody who reminded me so much of John Lewis. The quiet peace, the strength that does not need to be shown, just inhabited. And I haven't had the opportunity to meet our other honorees yet, but I have no doubt that if you've been chosen to receive these awards, that you embody that same vision, temperament, ideal, and courage. Now, we've all been through a lot these past 6 months. We've lost friends, we've lost homes, we've lost in some ways our old way of life. But if there's one thing that John Lewis always embodied, it was the spirit of reinvention. Because we forget how many different versions of John Lewis existed in the world and how many times he had to reinvent himself in the face of unbelievable pain. He started off wanting to be a boy preacher when he was 12 years old. He goes to American Baptist Theological Seminary, and that's where he meets Reverend Lawson. And no longer does he want to be a man of the cloth. He decides he wants to be an activist. He wants to protest. And he joins the Nashville student movement. And he does that until he's ousted as chair in 1966 for not being radical enough. And so then he decides to go and help and work in politics. And he does that on Robert Kennedy's campaign in 1968 until Robert Kennedy was killed. And he reinvents himself again. He goes back to the South. He helps administer grants. He helps do the hard, nitty-gritty work, the work that we need so much here. And he did that until he decided to run for office because he felt like he wasn't making enough of a contribution. And people forget, too, that first time he lost in 1977. He lost to a man named Weiss-Fowler. I actually saw Weiss-Fowler one time, and the first thing he said to me was at Max Cleland's funeral. And he said, "You know, I'm the only person to beat John Lewis." And I said, "You might not want to say that too loud, sir." But he kept coming back. And he ran for city council. And then he ran for Congress. And he ran for Congress at a time when no one thought he could win. And he overcame unbelievable odds. And I think a lot of us see those odds right now. And I think that's the model for us. How do we just keep coming back, reinventing ourselves? And the people we're celebrating today, these honors, this is our way of showing that that is what we care about. The people who move us forward, who do the hard, nitty-gritty work, who build us up, who carry us forward. I'm just going to close with this. Dr. Orlean Simmons is the only woman who could get me off of my mountain. I have been, I've been sad. I've been depressed. The administration, things happening in the world right now. After all the work, 20 years in Congress and government, after all the progress we made, to see it being undone now in such a profound and dramatic way all across the country. So I have retreated to my mother's farm, and I've been writing comic books about cooking. I think sometimes we've got to find different ways, different outlets, different things that can help us heal. It doesn't mean we're done. It doesn't mean we've given up. It just means we're rebuilding. And yesterday, I got one sign of life, something that perked me up more than I ever thought. I got a call from the Henderson County government. After 7 years of work, Mama's old farm has finally been designated as a working farm again. Now, I'm probably the most unlikely farmer you've ever seen. And John Lewis used to make fun of me for going back. He'd say, "Boy, I spent my whole life trying to get off the farm, and now you're trying to go back?" But here in Western North Carolina, we are able to be closer to the land. And to be close to the land is to be close to God. And I think we all need that right now. I think we all need to sow some seeds. We all need to fertilize and water our fields. And we all need to grow something new. And so by being here, celebrating these people, celebrating this legacy of John Lewis and Rosa Parks, and celebrating the contributions of these members of your community, this is our start. As John Lewis used to say, never give up, never give in, never give it out. Keep the faith and keep your eyes on the prize. Thank you all so much.
Thank you for those words, Andrew, and those sentiments and those thoughts. I think that, again, we're, as he mentioned, we're at a time that we're looking for hope. We're always looking for light, especially in times where it seems like it's very dark. And so not only do we have or try to find light in reading history and looking back at historical events, but all we have to do is look around us. And we see light in people that we are surrounded by. We see light in family and friends, and we see light in these people we're honoring this evening. Their efforts for this community, for their fellow brothers and sisters, some they know and some are total strangers, is a light. It's an inspiration and can guide us to say that together we get through this. And it reminds us that we are not alone, because a lot of times the darkness comes because we convince ourselves that we are alone. But I think that as we hear what our honorees have done and are doing, we can be lifted by the light of their work and their love of this fellowship that we call this community, this city, this neighborhood, this room. And so we come to the point now that we are actually doing the honor. So I ask if Dr. Simmons will come down, and as I call the honorees, I will read some of the bio that you see in the program, and then I ask that you come on up, and Dr. Simmons will give you your award, and there's also a nice poster that goes along with your plaque. And if you're so moved, there's a microphone if you have some comments you want to make now. And so without any further ado on my part, we will start off with honoring the Rosa Parks Award winners. These women are lights in our community. Our first award winner is Eleanor Earl. Eleanor Earl is a native of Asheville and a proud graduate of Stevens Lee High School. And after graduating from Stevens Lee, she went on to Asheville Buncombe Technical Community College, and she became a lab technician at Mission Hospital and worked for multiple physicians. Later, she teamed up with her friend Carolyn Irvin to run their successful business, E&E Maid Service. Eleanor is widely known and beloved as a friend, a mentor, a teacher, and community servant. And one of her passions is civics and voting. She continually registers voters and helps get folks to the polls every election. In the mid-1990s, Eleanor joined the Asheville Housing Authority, coordinating the Youthful Hand After-School program, which serves elementary-age students in public housing. Eleanor has been a champion of children. She has worked to help the students do well in school and expose them to different activities, swim, lessons, cultural things like the Nutcracker. So they had other experiences besides what they were seeing in the public housing community, she said. She could not be with us today, but on her behalf, her daughter, Janetta Earl, is accepting her award. Again, this award is the Rosa Parks Award to Eleanor Earl.
So I would like to accept this award on behalf of my mother and all the people that she's served throughout the years. Thank you.
Our next Rosa Parks Award honoree is Jackie Grant. Jackie is an Asheville native also who was recognized as Student of the Year by Buncombe County School System when she graduated from A.C. Reynolds High School back in 1988. She went on to graduate magna cum laude with a Bachelor of Science degree from Western Carolina University, and she earned her Juris Doctorate at UNC Chapel Hill's School of Law. She was a partner and litigator with the law firm of Roberts and Stevens, where she practiced for over 25 years. And she served as the 124th president of the North Carolina Bar Association and was previously a distinguished member of the Board of Governors. In 2014 through 2015, she became the first African-American woman to serve as president of the Buncombe County Bar Association. In 2021, Governor Roy Cooper appointed her resident Superior Court judge for Judicial District 40, which is Buncombe County. And in 2022, we, the citizens of Buncombe County, elected her to that office. She is the first woman and first person of color to serve as a resident Superior Court judge for Buncombe County. Judge Grant is committed to serving the community. She has previously served on several boards, including the Asheville Area Chamber of Commerce, the Asheville Area Habitat for Humanity, the Asheville Buncombe Institute of Parity Achievement, the ABIPA, Big Brothers Big Sisters of Western North Carolina, and YMCA of Western North Carolina, and the YWCA of Asheville. Judge Grant is also a member of Asheville's alumni chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority, Incorporated. I give you Jackie Grant, our Rosa Parks Award.
Just want to thank the Martin Luther King Association of Asheville for this award. It's a very special award in light of who Rosa Parks was and what she stood for. So thank you very much.
Our next award winner for Rosa Parks is Jennifer Horton. Yes, she brought her cheer squad because Jennifer Horton is a native of Buncombe County, and she is a registered nurse and founder of Living Waters Enterprises, which provides compassionate care through 5 adult care homes, ensuring stability, dignity, and support for those in need. Her work is rooted in equity and justice and community empowerment. She is committed to breaking barriers and uplifting those who often are unheard. This purpose has led her to serve as the Buncombe County Commissioner for District 1, making history as the first African-American woman to hold this position. As a county commissioner, she continues to advocate for mental health resources, affordable housing, and the well-being of vulnerable populations. I give you Jennifer Horton.
Good evening. I'm going to try it again. Good evening. I just want to say how thankful I am for this award. I want to thank my family who has shown up big. My amazing husband that's with the boldest of our crew. Her voice is going to be heard. Is in the hallway. So I want to thank him as well. My promise to our community is to always walk in purpose, on purpose, to always speak up, and most importantly, guys, to show up, because that's the only way that we're going to continue the progress forward. I'm excited, and that's all I have to say today. Thank you so much.
Again, thank you, ladies. Those were our 2025 Rosa Parks Award winners. Again, I give them a round of applause for the work that they continue to do. We now move to our John Lewis Award winners, and our first award honoree is Preston Blakely. Now, Preston is a lifelong resident of Fletcher who graduated from Asheville High School in 2013. He holds a bachelor's degree in political science from the University of North Carolina in Greensboro and a master's of public affairs from Western Carolina University. In 2019, he was a member of the Fletcher Town Council and went on in 2021 to be elected mayor of Fletcher, which is the office he still holds today. In addition to his mayoral duties, Preston serves on several boards and commissions, including Big Brothers Big Sisters of Western North Carolina, Thrive in Henderson County, the Governor's Task Force for Racial Equity in Criminal Justice, the Commission on the Future of North Carolina Elections, the Land of Sky Regional Council, and the Advent Health Board. He is also a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. Since Hurricane Helene, Preston has been a member of the Rebuilding Western North Carolina Advisory Committee, where he contributes to long-term recovery efforts and policy development. His service and leadership efforts have been recognized statewide and nationally. In 2023, he earned Outstanding Early Career Public Servant Award from North Carolina Public Administration Alliance. And most recently, he was named one of the National League of Cities Centennial Under 40 Impact Award winners. I give you our John Lewis Award winner, Preston Blakely.
I think that makes me sound too good, and I'm also trying to figure out where I sleep. They just telling them I feel tired a lot. You know, when I walked in here, I think my grandmother here said, "Well, where's your family at?" And I said, "Well, you're my family." And you know what? Not only is she my family, but you all are too. I keep on having these full circle moments in my life, and a lot of them are centered around this MLK Association because, like I said, this is my grandmother, and everybody talked to her before you because she's a queen. But I keep on having these full circle moments here where I go to these events all my life, right? And I sit in the back and I listen to these people talk and receive these awards, and they seem big and wonderful and fabulous. And they were, and they continue to be. And now I'm in this big age of 30, right? And I'm receiving these awards, and I'm giving grace to people. And, you know, when I was a teenager and a college student, I was walking up to these people, asking them for an opportunity. And so now I'm on the other side of this, and I'm trying to give other folk an opportunity. And I'm hoping to fill half the shoes that my grandmother has, because she's amazing and she's a queen. And I thank you all. I thank the MLK Association of Asheville and Buncombe County. And I appreciate you all, my family, and this community. Thank you.
Now, our next honoree for John Lewis Award is Reverend Alfred Blunt. Reverend Blunt had a medical issue, nothing serious, but he couldn't be with us tonight, but we wanted to go ahead and read his award anyway and know that he was in our thoughts. But Alfred Blunt was born in Pageland, South Carolina, and after graduating from Forest Hills High School in 1984, he went on to attend Western Carolina University, where he graduated in 1988 with a BS degree in business administration. In 2014, he earned his Master's of Divinity from Gardner-Webb University. And currently, he is working on his Doctor of Ministry from Gardner-Webb University. In 1990, he preached his initial sermon at Tridestone Missionary Baptist Church. And on March 14th of 1999, he was installed as church pastor. Under his leadership, the church has emphasized outreach to young people by encouraging the participation in the church's youth department's Bible study and Sunday school. Reverend Blunt has been involved in a number of community activities and has served on several boards and committees throughout the city. He is currently the treasurer of Mud Creek Missionary Baptist Association and Each One Reach One Youth Coalition and the Mud Creek Retreat Center. He is also currently serving on the board of directors of ABCCM. And so again, our honor goes to Reverend Alfred Blunt. Our next John Lewis honoree is Lonnie Gillum. Lonnie Gillum has been a tireless public servant of the Asheville community. He was a community organizer during the Asheville High School riot, working to prevent police violence. In the 1980s, he worked with the Neighborhood Youth Corps, delivering over 1,200 free lunches to young people during the summer. He has organized and led trips for girls and boys from public housing in Asheville to go to the U.S. Marine Corps base at Parris Island, South Carolina, and see firsthand what Marine recruits go through in basic training. He also organized trips for students who did not have a college graduate in their family to go on a 3-day tour of HBCUs across North Carolina. Mr. Gillum was the technical advisor for the Poor People of Asheville campaign, 1977 through 1985. During his years of public service, he has written federal drug prevention grants totaling over $20 million. He wrote the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development grant that transformed Eastview Homes rental units into privately owned condominiums. And last year, he organized the Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity Get Out the Vote campaign for Asheville, saying that you know that he is a proud member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, and he is our 2025 John Lewis honoree, Lonnie Gillum. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I want to congratulate everyone here that is a recipient. and I'm proud to be a part and honored to be a part of this particular award. My college years started at Johnson C. Smith University, and I was on a football scholarship, and we played a school called Morehouse College. While we were there at Friday night, a lot of the team members were leaving, and we were wondering, where you guys going? We said, we're going to see our brother, Dr. Martin Luther King. That made a light go off in my head, and when I got a chance to pledge, that was the basis for it. Ironically, this is in the early 60s, when we went on the Freedom Rides and got arrested, another alpha came to get us out of jail, was a guy named Thurgood Marshall. When I joined the Marines, I never dreamed that I would be in a place called Vietnam. And while I was in Vietnam, when we got to see some of the newscasts, we heard, couldn't understand the language, but we heard Alabama, Mississippi, dogs, fire hoses, fire hydrants. And at that time, my little prayer was, Lord, if you get me out of this alive, I want to do something for the less fortunate. So my whole life has been dedicated to that, and I'm certain that there are many that come behind us that hopefully I can set some kind of standard for the future. Thank you very much.
Our next John Lewis Award is in memory of Bernard Oliphant. Accepting for the family, the Oliphant family, is his wife, Joyce. Bernard Oliphant graduated from Stevens Lee High School in 1966, and he was a proud graduate of North Carolina A&T State University, and he also later attended Boston College. He was a decorated Army veteran who served in Bosnia and Kosovo, as well as working a number of years in the Pentagon. Mr. Oliphant was a dedicated member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, crossing over in 1982 with the Theta Rho chapter in Germany. He served as the first basilisk of the Phi Lambda chapter in the 3rd District of Washington, D.C. and Virginia area. And he was also basilisk of the Epsilon Omicron chapter here in Asheville. Mr. Oliphant was a founding member of Black Men Mondays, a nonprofit that works to create space where the community can gather to discuss common issues and support one another. He was also a member of the Community Reparations Commission, as well as a devoted husband, father, and servant leader at Mount Zion Missionary Baptist Church, where he served as a deacon, a Sunday school teacher, and member of the church leadership team. We give this John Lewis Award in memory of Bernard Oliphant.
Good evening. I'd like to thank the association for this award. You know how much it means to me. And I know what it means to him, but he's gone on to be with the Lord now, so I know he's smiling wherever he is. So this would have been so good for him. He's a very active person. Anybody that knows him knows that when the kids say boots on the ground, that's what Bernard did. Wherever he could be of service, whether it's building cars or trying to find men to enter his chapter Omega Psi Phi fraternity or the other ones. So I thank you very much for all your hard work you all do. Thank you. Y'all pray for me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. It's time for thank yous and congratulations. On behalf of the Dr. Martin Luther King Association of Asheville and Buncombe County, members Dr. Elizabeth Coulton, Vanessa Funderburg, Jennifer Nielsen, Sarah Thornburg, Patrick Crudup, Jonathan McCoy, Monique Taylor, and David King and Ann Carpenter. We say congratulations to all of our honorees. Thank you very much to all of our sponsors that's listed on the back of your program. Also to the Asheville Parks and Recreation Department, to Aisha Adams, Media Group, Christy Hollifield of Mars Hill University, Paul Prince Printing for this program, Rebecca Pickens of Asheville Awards and Gifts for our plaques. Congratulations again to all of our awardees. And like to say a very special thank you to Jonathan McCoy, who chairs our COAT program for the association for this splendid event. We ask you to please stay and where you might be able to talk with some of our honorees and enjoy some of the refreshments that have been prepared for you.
Thank you, Dr. Simmons. But the main thing as we come to this close is thanking you again, not only our honorees for the work that they do, but for you, public, to come out and support them. Means that they realize, sometimes you do work and you're always asking yourself, does anybody really recognize what I'm doing? Well, you showing up shows that they are being touched. The work is being recognized and being honored. So we thank you for coming and honoring them, but also thanking you for making the time to come to show that you care about this community and that you care about one another. And that is the strength that will see us through. Again, not only through the storm of Helene, but the storm of what we're going through, be it politically, socially, economically. We can only make it through together, knowing and remembering that we're not alone. So as we leave today, as we go and enjoy refreshments and enjoy fellowship, may it go with a blessing of fellowship, blessing of hope, blessing of peace that you find in yourself and then you share with one another. So as you share that hope and peace with another, they will share it with another and then with another. And as that hope and peace and that feeling of fellowship spreads, that is what will lift and support our community. So please be blessed, be safe as you travel, be blessed, be safe as you live day by day, and know that you are seen and you are very much loved. Have a good evening. Thank you.